Hello Enchanted Ones, and welcome back. Today, join me as I prepare for the forest's slumber with simple tasks, DIYs, bakes, a cozy winter makeover, and a wholesome forest walk. So sit back, relax, and step into the enchanted woods with me. Hello Enchanted Ones. Welcome to this video. Oh my goodness, it's so magical in the woods. The fir trees are raining needles and the sun is low, and every single shot today and every single place where I look, it feels like a picture that is in a calendar. And it's been a while, so I thought I'd get you up to speed and catch you up with what I've been doing. The story began in October, where I found myself aboard a cruise, sailing across the Atlantic, and it was wonderful. The boat did the same route as the Titanic, and the holiday was about following our ancestors' footprints who sailed aboard the ship. Our first stop of call was Ponta Delgada, which was magical. There was a park there that fulfilled my fantasy grotto needs, which I never knew existed. Then we went to Nova Scotia, which had all the autumn feels. We visited the Titanic graveyard and found the grave of my great-great-great uncle, whose body was found after the ship sunk, which was very emotional. Next, we went to Boston, where we did a graveyard tour and of the city in general. And lastly, we stayed in New York, where we saw the Halloween parade and just did touristy things. It was amazing, but scary. So when I arrived home, needless to say, it felt so good to be back. However, I started to realise the ship's sway gave me a serious case of vertigo, and it is only just starting to get better now. Oh, and I also had some realisations with my mental health, which made me want to cut off all my hair to start fresh. So that is where I've been. It feels so good to be back to normality again. Although I can only walk very slowly still, nature is always the best place to heal. So today I was up for a little patrol of the woods, and also to share with you the woods journey from autumn to winter. Down Birch Way, the ground is thick with leaves, with very few left on the trees. Yet down Fern Valley, the chestnut trees are still clinging on to their leaves, reluctant to let go, still giving the forest some beautiful colours. Down the Holly Walk, the leaves and ferns have now faded to camouflage the floor, letting the evergreens shine through effortlessly to have their moment. And holly is one of my favourites and is truly a protector of the woods. I love seeing the red berries of the holly as they symbolise rebirth and are a strong symbol of Yule. I even spotted some white holly, a very rare find. Albino plants are unable to produce chlorophyll, yet this holly seems to be thriving nonetheless. The weather has been temperamental, which is expected of November in England. Storms and rain have been constant for weeks, but unfortunately there was a casualty down Birch Way, and it was one of my favourite trees, the Tree of Faces. This tree had been hit by lightning some time ago, so it was already damaged, but the shock of seeing a fallen tree is always such an emotional feeling, as it was so special to me. the healing trail again, one thing shines so much more than in other places of the woods, and that is the sun. Its low position in winter causes the most beautiful rays to be visible all day down the trail, making it a haven. And I wish I could stay beneath the firs and watch them the entire day. Here I rested upon a fir tree and watched the sun for a while. I can't wait to come back here throughout winter to be healed in the rays over and over again. After my walk, I slowly made my way home. As I've not been up to doing much recently, it was time to do a few things I've been putting off, and that was my garden. It needed a little bit of TLC to prepare it for the winter. It always seems a little sad cutting back the garden, when only a few months ago it was in full flourish. But at the same time, I'm so ready for this next phase in the year, the phase where I can just look at the garden and appreciate its hibernation state. So I cut back a lot of the empty stalks. However, this flower still has its life to fill. There were so many leaves to sweep up, and I find it so therapeutic. I love admiring them all together, and I found leaves from trees that had come on quite a journey since they fell, as their trees were nowhere to be found. The more I tidied the garden, the more the evergreens stood out. And one reason why I'm so excited for winter this year is because a big part of the design in the garden was evergreen plants. One, as I love winter, and I'm a winter baby, but also they are so easy to maintain and fill the space the flowers leave behind in winter. And this has worked wonderfully. There is so much green to keep the spirit healed, and all of these bring protection to the garden over the winter months. After deciding that I was too tired to sweep away the leaf pile, I decided it was time for a little break. I love having a hot drink in the garden when it's cold outside. It's so refreshing, and I get all cozy under scarves and blankets, especially when it's a blue sky, crisp day. Unfortunately, the only thing with England is one moment it will be beautiful and sunny, and then after the tea is made, a storm is brewing. So today I had no choice but to sit inside in my cozy nook, and this is where I spend a lot of time during the darker months, observing the garden, reading and just doing crafts and hobbies. Although the problem was it had turned into a dumping ground, and I really wanted it to look cozy and inviting. So of course it was on to my next project. Within minutes, my spontaneous mind decided it was time for a woodland cozy nook, first giving it a much needed tidy and then clean. I then moved 2 bookshelves into the area as I wanted to be able to read and look out the window and be drawn into a cozy looking book, placing my favourite winter reads at the top. I then started placing furniture around that fit the brief, the main inspiration being my morning walk in the woods, the feeling of being safe beneath the fir trees. So what did I do? I placed my trees either side, and all my trees will be up until in bulk, which is on the 1st of February, as I love having the extra piece of magic in my home. Lastly, I needed something on top of the bookshelf, and I tried my Enchanted map, but it didn't feel right. I needed to paint something from scratch, something that reminded me of the healing trail. So I have just made some chestnuts which I have dipped in the sweet and salt cinnamon dip, and they are heavenly. I love chestnuts anyway, but I am so happy with how this spot, this little cozy forest nook, has turned out, and I can't wait to spend my winter days here and now, of course. It's just so cozy, and the idea of the trees both sides just encloses it in so I can watch nature outside. And even the canvas that I painted had such a cool metaphor, and I didn't even realise it was there until I painted it, which was very interesting. Basically, you can see at the bottom, the very tall tree is linking roots with the really small tree which is next to me, and it's like feeding its nutrients so it gets bigger and stronger. And I love that little metaphor. But yeah, that picture is basically there so I can watch it and feel like I'm part of the woods on those days where it's just too wet. I'm also really excited as next week I'll be showing you some DIYs and Yule inspired woodland DIYs, so you have to wait for that. But I have already made one thing to share with you, and it is an Advent spiral that is very traditional and very pagan. I didn't know this, but Advent also means arrival. So this Advent is going and heading towards the arrival of the sun, and it does look like stones. Stones are traditional during Yule. They are unbreakable. They are the stone of our ancestors and everlasting life. So you would traditionally use stones. Unfortunately, I did not have any stones. So would you believe these stones are made out of salt dough. Salt dough is really easy to make. All I did was I mixed a cup of plain flour with half a cup of water and half a cup of salt, and mixed them all together until it formed a dough, and then simply rolled 21 pebble shapes with my hands, and I put them on a baking tray, making sure that they got gradually smaller and smaller, which can be a little bit fiddly, but you probably have stones so you can probably do it, which I didn't have. So then I put it into a oven, a really low temperature oven. Mine was about 75 degrees, and they were in there for about 4 hours to dry out. And then I got them out and painted them a pebble colour, and I also put some symbols of Yule on there too, like bells, holly, ivy, the moon, a spiral, all leading to a nice star in the middle, which is symbolic of the sun's return. So the idea of the Advent is each day you will take away a stone, and it will be a countdown of 21 days until Yule in the middle. So when you get to that star in the middle, what you could do is you could start putting the stones back onto it, because that's kind of like now representing the days getting longer. That's just my idea anyway. But it's a very strong symbol of Yule, the spiral, as the days are getting shorter and shorter until we reach that shortest day. In general, I'm just excited about December and the holidays and Yule and Christmas, and I've got such inspiration this year from just a couple of things. The first thing is green tartan. I just fallen in love with how cozy it looks, yet it doesn't stand out too much, and the green really mimics the forest, even though there's blue and reds in it. You don't really see that. I love how it all kind of combines into one. And I use this as a throw. Actually, this is a scarf that I wear too, so it doubles up as extra. But at the garden centre, I did also find these stockings. I got 2 of them. I couldn't resist buying those. Next week in my video, I'll be making something out of green tartan that you might like the look of too. I've also bought, just a stag, of course, a nice forest green stag, a mushroom. I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna have this out all year round anyway, so this is the perfect time of year to buy things, as unfortunately garden centres don't like to put woodland things all year round, and I don't know why. Woodland isn't just for Christmas, and it makes me sad. I even got a New York golden enchanted apple, and it's going to go on our tree. This year we are finally getting a real tree. Well, we've got it already. I'm looking at it right now. We put it up this afternoon and it's so big. It's massive, but that's okay, because now this is the dream. I have 3 trees. One of them is real, and I'm so excited to decorate it with you. So let's
Go. There they are. So beautiful. I love this bauble so much, my aniseed bauble. You're so pretty, hey? Apple never hangs too far from the tree. Perfect. I love this one. This used to be my grandma's. Aww.
Thank you so much for watching Enchanted Ones. All my love, Alwyn.